Welcome everybody. Today I will be presenting password security best practices. My name is Annie and I work for a nonprofit organization called Cyber Seniors. We teach older adults how to use their electronic devices and technology. For more than 20 years, Wellcare has offered a range of Medicare products, including Medicare Advantage and Medicare prescription drug plans, which offer affordable coverage beyond original Medicare. Today, Wellcare is proud to offer access to quality, affordable, and culturally sensitive healthcare to more than 1.2 million Medicare Advantage members and 4.1 million PDP members across all 50 states. In our daily routines, we encounter numerous instances where we need to input our passwords, such as accessing our emails, engaging on our social media accounts, or making online purchases in places like Amazon. Research suggests that the average person currently manages about 100 passwords. However, it is unfeasible for regular users to memorize a multitude of strong passwords. That being said, what is password security? Creating strong passwords and keeping them safe from loss or theft is essential to password security. Password security includes guidelines, rules, and tools to make our passwords and the authentication process more secure. Critical elements of password security include: a strong password should be at least 12 characters long and consist of a random combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as numbers and special characters. When I say special characters, it could be the exclamation mark symbol, the @ symbol, the number symbol, dollar symbol, parentheses, or the star symbol. A strong password should also exclude any numbers or phrases connected to your identity. The case is for your name or full name, address, phone number, or anniversary dates. Ensuring the safety of your personal information and shielding it from data breaches are the primary advantages of implementing strong password security measures. It is important for us to follow strong password practices. In that way, we can prevent unauthorized access and protect data from hacking attempts. Hacking tactics include, but are not limited to, the following. On the left side, we have phishing. This is a type of scam that uses fake emails to trick people. These emails often look like urgent messages from well-known companies, such as our bank, or services that we use. Phishing aims to fool you into clicking on unsafe links or sharing personal information like credit card numbers or passwords. Brute force attacks. These are a common hacking tactic that uses random combinations of usernames and passwords to attempt account logins until a match is found. And lastly, here we have a spyware. This is malicious software that secretly installs itself on your electronic device and watches your online activity. What it does is that it sends personal information to an attacker without your knowledge or permission. Spyware is regularly hard to find and can spy on you for a long time. What should you avoid to keep your passwords safe? Do not use the same password for different sites or services that you have business with. For instance, if a hacker gets your email password, They could use this to access many other sites, most of which are likely identified by the messages those same sites send to your email account. Using different passwords for each site, especially for important ones like banking, helps to keep your information more secure. Do not email your password. If you share a password with someone you trust, avoid sharing it via email. You can't guarantee the security of the email account of the person you are sending that password to. Just because you take steps to secure your accounts doesn't mean everybody else does. So it is crucial to share passwords safely. This will rule out sticky notes, text messages, and internally shared documents. Do not use common words, birth dates, identifying numbers, or family members' name in your password. Ordinary words may be easy to remember, but thieves are adept at using tools to break into accounts, so it's best to avoid using ordinary words in passwords altogether. We reference this more so when you use individual words as opposed to combination of multiple words. If you use multiple words in a password, that adds length and complexity. For instance, you can use the title of a song you like. Perhaps it would be one with more than 3 words in it, and you can choose to capitalize the initial of each of the words in that song and leave the rest of the letters in there as lowercase. You should also avoid using common sequences of numbers as well as any variation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, B, C, D, F. It's too easy to guess. Social media and other alike resources make it easy for others to find your date of birth, especially if you made it public in your profile. Avoid using easily identifiable numbers associated with you. This includes your date of birth, phone number, and social security number. Such information can be easily linked to your identity, making it easier for someone to gain unauthorized access to your accounts. To protect your personal information and enhance your online security, ensure that your password does not contain any identifying numbers. Avoid including any family member's name in the passwords you create. This advice is relevant for all family members, particularly children, especially if you have used your child's photo as your Facebook profile picture in the past. Remember, pets are also considered family members. They should not be included in our passwords. Do not type your password on a device you don't trust. Likely you have become comfortable enough with your home PC, laptop, or a smartphone, and you can to some level ensure their safety because you are the one who uses them. However, you can't guarantee the same level of safety when using a computer at a hotel business center, a library, or any other public computer. A good rule of thumb is that if you don't have the permission to install any type of application or software on the computer you are using, you probably shouldn't be typing important passwords either. Do not type your password when using the internet on a network you don't trust. If you have never been on the network before and it seems a little bit suspicious, please stay off of that network. Instead, if you have access to, use your cellular data. If you are at a hotel, airport, or even someone else's house, ask someone with some authority or knowledge before accessing the network. And even then, if available, turn on your VPN to ensure your traffic is secure and the information going through the internet is encrypted before you proceed with any major decisions like making financial transactions. Our passwords are the first line of defense when it comes to protecting our accounts. Therefore, making unique and secure passwords can help us reduce the chance of hacking and data breaches. If you add just a few extra characters, this can significantly increase the time it takes for a password to be cracked. If you struggle as much as I have to create a safe password, one of the best ways to create them is to use a trusted password generator. Most of these services you can use for free in a website, and also if you have an antivirus software, some of these applications already include services like password generators and password managers. If you are just looking to explore options, you can look at Dashlane, ExpressVPN, LastPass, and also NordPass. I'm going to show you a brief demo on Dashlane, which is one of the password generators we just mentioned in the presentation, so you know how they work. You can use the password generator for free. You don't need to pay for this. And in essence, what it does is that allow you to create password by selecting the type of characters that a password requires. So you have at the very top a password that has been generated already by the system. And here you have the indication of whether that password is strong or weak. We can assume that it's strong just by the type of characters that it has. So at the bottom, you have the length. So 16 characters, which is fairly good. Using this circle right here, if you hold your click, you can move it to either the right or the left, and you will see how the characters number changes here and also changes here where it says 17. So as you move it, you will see the variations of a password. So say that I leave it at 12 characters. In that password, you can also decide if you want letters, digits, symbols, or similar characters. In letters, it will include capital and lowercase letters. You don't have to do much in that regard. If you were to unselect the boxes, even if I only use digits, just by the nature of the length, my password is strong. However, if I reduce the length, that will affect my password. But I can, again, click the three categories that we have been talking about. Just because I have 5 characters here, even when I did a combination of the 3 type of characters we should use in a safe password, my password is still weak because the length is what takes it to the next level. So say that you have played with this a little bit and you actually want to use this password. You have this feature right here that is called copy password. If you were to click on that copy password, it will give you an indication that that password has been copied and you can paste it on a different place. You can do this differently. You don't need to copy the password. You can write it down at the beginning and after store it somewhere else. But the copy password is just the function to be able to move it from the password generator to a different place. You have a refresh button as well on top of the copy option that allow you to refresh the password, having into consideration the selections you did before in terms of the characters, as well as the length. You can always change and refresh. Some password generators, like ExpressVPN, will even tell you how long will it take to crack a password that you are using or creating with that password generator. Let's go to the next suggestion when it comes to what you should do to keep your accounts safe. We already explored the password generator. Let's see what else is for us here. Use two-factor authentication. If we use a two-factor authentication process, also known as 2FA, this uses a second credential other than our password, such as a code sent through an application, say our text messages application, to confirm our identity. When it comes to multi-factor authentication, which is known as MFA, this security practice takes the safety of your accounts to the next level by adding identifiers that are unique, such as your fingerprints or facial recognition. 2FA and MFA identifiers fall into three categories: knowledge, biometrics, and possession. Okay, for the sake of giving you an example of when you can set up two-factor authentication and the scope of it, I have opened my email account. I'm using Gmail, and I can refer to the top profile icon, click on that, and use a security menu to set it up. So I'm using manage my Google account, and then I will be presented with this set of options. This may look different for you and your devices, but essentially you are looking at changing things in your profile associated with your security. When I go to security, which is where I will be finding the two-factor authentication set up, you not only can access that particular menu, but you can see if your account is protected. You can also see recent security activity associated with your account, if there have been any suspicious activity detected, and what kind of things you have set in place for your account, right? So at the moment, I have not activated the two-step verification or two-factor authentication. Notice how it's off. If you ever want to do this, you have to follow the prompts on the screen. So I click on this arrow. And when I click on that arrow, then I will see this prompt. Prevent hackers from accessing your account with an additional layer of security. So I can go to the option, turn on two-factor authentication. And then this is what it shows for me. Now that I activated that option, the ways that I can get my account verified is by answering the prompts in other devices that I use associated with this account, or receiving a code to the number I input in the system to confirm my identity. We just went over two-factor authentication, but how do you store passwords securely? Storing passwords securely will help protect your essential accounts from prying eyes who may try to steal your data or money. The risk of failing to store passwords securely may include identity theft. An identity thief who gets into a key account may be able to steal important personal information, from your full name to your address to your social security number. They can use this information to impersonate you, open credit card accounts in your name, and create a mess that may take months to fix. Account takeover. A hacker may gain control of one or more of your accounts from email to social media. While you work to regain access, the attacker may message your colleagues, family, or friends to ask for money or scam them out of their private information, such as they did with you. Financial loss. A cyber criminal who gets your bank password may access your account before you realize there is a problem. If you use online banking, there is notifications that you can set in place to be more vigilant of the transactions your accounts have. So for instance, you can receive notifications every single time your credit card has a transaction. Federal protections exist for unauthorized transactions, but resolving the case can take time, leaving you in a precarious situation when it comes to finances. There are free and paid options available for securely storing our passwords. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the average user can have up to 100 passwords, and it is difficult to remember them, and also thinking that we need to set up different passwords for the accounts that we use. While using the password manager feature on your internet browser is convenient, as it is free and you don't need to pay for these options, a dedicated password manager may provide an even more secure method for storing your usernames and passwords for all your sensitive accounts. And also some of these dedicated password managers allow you to input digital formats of your most relevant documents. Before I go into explaining more about a dedicated password manager that you have to pay for, I would like to show you a password manager in the browser. I don't know exactly what browsers you use, but if you go at the top right corner of the browser, you are likely to find the three dots, and there is where you can find options from the drop-down menu. So if I click in there, I have the menus associated with the browser I'm using. You likely have something called password manager or passwords and autofill, such as I have right now. And then this is the area where you can find passwords that have been saved in your browser, or you can find here how the password manager in your browser works. If I were to click in password manager, for example, I will be led to this option. I'm using the password manager from Google. So you see at the very top of my screen, it says Google Password Manager, and I am in the passwords menu. Each of these menus have a different purpose. So in passwords, whenever a password has been saved in your browser, you will see that in here. Here, you also have the option to add a password and username, as well as the website you use that password and username for. And it will look something like you see right here. As you start filling in information, and once you have gone over site, username, and password, you will hit the option Save. There is even the option to input details about that password. Since I'm just showing this to you right now, I just click in Cancel, and it will take me out of that menu. Once you start saving password in a browser password manager, also in a dedicated password manager, you likely can check them up. So there is something is called password checkup. This password checkup will review the passwords that you have saved in your system and tell you if they are compromised or if they are unique or if the password is strong enough. Notice that if you want to refresh this kind of checkup, you can always use the arrow in the form of a circle and it will do that process again. So that is password checkup. And also you have password settings. In here, you can decide how the browser interact with the passwords you use. The first option for me here is that the password manager in my browser has the opportunity to offer me to save passwords whenever I'm inputting one in the browser. I go to a website and I input a username and a password, and the browser will tell me, would you like to save this password? This is what it is. That offer, I allow the browser to present it to me. Also, once you set up a password and username in your browser, there is an option to sign in automatically whenever you go to the same page and you use the same credential. Essentially, in this case, what it says for me is that the Google Password Manager remembers how I sign in and automatically input the details in that website. If I were to deactivate this, which I can just do by deactivating the toggle bar. Before it was blue, now it's gray. I won't be able to use the automatically sign in. Here I also have a setting that comes from my electronic device. I use a Windows computer and I have set up my Windows computer to ask for a passcode whenever I'm managing my passwords. That, what it does is that when I'm using or logging into the different accounts that I use, my computer has to give permission to the browser to fill in the details of my accounts. As I say, you can activate and deactivate things as you see fit. And if you keep going down, you have other options, right? So for example, use and save passwords and passkeys from your Google account. So if this is on, your passwords are saved under the email account that you see presented in this part. Also, you can set up on-device encryption. This adds safety, and you can encrypt passwords on your device before they are saved. If you want to import passwords from other applications, you can use it by using import passwords. If you want to export passwords from one password manager in the browser to other, you will download a file. So these are just some things you can find in the settings of a password manager and how a password manager in the browser will operate in comparison to the ones we are going to explore in just a little bit, which are dedicated password managers that require a subscription for you to use. I mentioned before that if you already have an antivirus software that you pay for or have a subscription with, you are likely to have a password manager, therefore a password generator. This is offered to users to help them with their security and safety, and it's been more and more implemented to offer users different mechanisms to protect their accounts and information. So I hope that gives you an idea as to how password managers in the browser work. Again, these are free if you use Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or even DuckDuckGo. You will have access to a free password manager. I won't recommend this for accounts associated to your finances, taxes. Keep that in mind and do your search to find out what is the best option in terms of a password manager, whether it's in the browser or that you pay for a dedicated one. A good password manager app allows you to create strong, complex passwords for each of your accounts, which helps to avoid the risky practice of password reuse, which is one of the things we mentioned today that we should not do when setting up a password. Additionally, most password managers now support passkeys or are working on adding this feature for even more secure logins. Many password managers also offer extras such as a VPN to enhance overall security. Here are some pros and cons of using a dedicated password manager application. Pros: they are a practical way to store passwords securely. They enable easy creation, management, and access to secure passwords. When you need to enter a password on a website or some of the applications you use, you can set up the autofill function instead of having to remember the details of the username and password. They can generate strong passwords, allowing you to specify the number of characters and whether to include symbols or digits. When it comes to the cons, you may need to compare password manager options and prices to choose the right fit for you. That being said, there is a lot of options to consider, and perhaps you have to do a little bit of research as to which application suits your needs better. Even the best apps can have occasional technical issues that lead to user complaints. For example, users may get locked out of the password manager or not be asked if they want to save a password or username. To access your password manager, you typically need a long, strong master password. If your password is lost, storing and retrieving information from your password manager can be quite challenging. I would like to leave you with the following: the most unsecure ways to store your passwords. Storing passwords on paper or in a notes application on your phone or a smartphone may keep them safe from hackers, but burglars or unwanted prying eyes could easily access them. Using a notes app on your smartphone or tablet means that anyone who picks up your device could access all your passwords unless your device is protected with a strong passcode or a pattern. While you can log a note with a password on an iPhone or Android, storing that password becomes a new challenge. While emailing yourself a password to avoid forgetting it may seem something convenient, emails can be stored on various servers. They may linger in trash folders even after deletion, making it easier for hackers to access your passwords. Cyber Seniors and Wellcare are community partners with the shared goal of enriching the lives of the Medicare beneficiaries we serve. This training was sponsored by Wellcare as part of this shared goal. Wellcare Medicare Advantage plans offer affordable coverage and valuable benefits in one package, with the extra help Medicare beneficiaries need to meet the challenges in their daily lives. Wellcare offers a range of Medicare coverage products, including Medicare Advantage and Medicare prescription drug plans, which provide affordable coverage beyond original Medicare. Do you have Medicare questions? They are here to help. You can contact the number or referral line 844-915-0096 Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go to the website www.wellcare.com. Thank you so much for listening us today. We look forward to seeing you in our future webinars. Bye for now.